Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Before reciting Srimad Bhagvatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Nanda and Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtake. By regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Vaishnavas, for joining. I humbly request everyone to please keep your phones on mute when you are not speaking, so that helps to hear without any side noises. So we are very fortunate to reach Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4. Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. In the last few verses we were discussing that how the demigods, pretty much everyone, the Gandharvas, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, etc., they were all serving Hiranyakashipu. Whatever Hiranyakashipu was asking, they were doing it. So that's what we read till text number 18. Text 19. Sa itham Nirjita kakub ekarad vishayan priyan yathopajosham bhunjano natrapyad ajatendriyaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In spite of achieving the power to control in all directions, and in spite of enjoying all types of dear sense gratification as much as possible, Hiranyakashipu was dissatisfied because instead of controlling his senses, he remained their servant. Purport: this is an example of asuric life. Atheists can advance materially and create an extremely comfortable situation for the senses, but because they are controlled by the senses, they cannot be satisfied. This is the effect of modern civilization. Materialists are very much advanced in enjoying money and women, yet dissatisfaction prevails within the human society because human society cannot be happy and peaceful without Krishna consciousness. As far as material sense gratification is concerned, materialists may go on increasing their enjoyment as far as they can imagine, but because people in such a material condition are servants of their senses, they cannot be satisfied. Hiranyakashipu was a vivid example of this dissatisfied state of humanity. Such an amazing verse which basically describes the today's situation. Just now imagine Hiranyakashipu's kingdom. He had the topmost kingdom. He took the kingdom of Indra, Mahendrasan. The demigods were serving him with their own hands as a waiter. The Gandharvas were singing for him. The Apsaras were dancing for him. Anything he could imagine, he could get it. Gold, rubies, pearls were studded in his palace. We read all that. So much power, so much wealth, so much name, so much fame, so much so many servants, but still he was dissatisfied. Why? Because he could not control his own mind and senses. So this shows that controlling mind and senses is the biggest thing, is the biggest victory in human form of life. And therefore the sannyasis are called Maharaj. Maharaj means king, or Goswami. Goswami, the literal meaning is Go means senses and Swami means master. So Maharaj, what do these sannyasis, most of them don't even have a bank account. They are just, traveling, preaching, sleeping sometimes here and there without any proper resources. So why? They are the biggest king because they have controlled their mind and senses. That is the biggest thing. If one has not controlled one's mind and senses, nothing in the material world can make one happy. Who could be a richer person in this world than Hiranyakashipu? No one. But still people are dissatisfied. Why? Because of this fundamental problem, lack of control over mind and senses. The lust is still there. It's like adding fuel to the fire. I think I'm earning X amount today. If I earn 2X, I'll be very happy. If I get 2X, it's like adding fuel to the fire. Then I want 4X. If I get 4X, then I want 8X. It's the desire, the insatiable desires don't cease until we work on the fundamental. And what is the fundamental Prabhupada is telling? Human society cannot be happy without Krishna consciousness. Period. Prabhupada is so unequivocally expressing the solution to all problems. If one is Krishna conscious, if one has controlled one's mind and senses, one will be happy. And same story comes in Bali Maharaj's situation. When Vaman Dev, disguised as a small boy, the Supreme Lord comes as a boy and asks, I want 3 steps of land. And then King Bali says, are you crazy? You are a little boy, your steps are also very tiny. What will you get in 3 steps of land? And then Vaman Dev says the same thing. For one who has not controlled one's mind and senses, one will not be happy, one will not be satisfied, even one gets the kingdom of the 3 worlds. And that's what Hiranyakashipu had. He had the entire kingdom of 3 worlds. He had the best everything, but still unhappy. So very, very practical lesson for us and for everyone here, that we should work on controlling our mind and senses. Because material things, even we get the name, fame, power, wealth, kingdom, home, like Hiranyakashipu, we will still be dissatisfied. But if one has Krishna consciousness, one is happy. One doesn't need anything else, because one has the best thing, the topmost, prema pumartho mahan. There are 4 purushartha, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, wealth, religiosity, etc. But the topmost amongst them is the pancham purushartha, prema pumartho mahan, the love for Krishna. One who has love for Krishna, one has everything. One does not need anything else. One is happy. Very nice verse to meditate upon. Anyone else has any other comments or questions? Okay, let's see what he did in that dissatisfied state. Devotees who didn't get chance to read yesterday would like to read, please. Raghu Prabhu, you want to start?
Yes, I can do that. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna devotees, text 20. Evam Aishwarya Matasya Driptriyot Shastra Vattinaha Kalo Mahan Vyatyaya Brahmasapam Upeyushaha Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Sri Prabhupada. Translation. Hiranyakashipu thus passed a long time being very much proud of his opulences and transgressing the laws and regulations mentioned in the authoritative sastras. He was therefore subjected to a curse by the 4 Kumaras, who were great Brahmanas. Purport. There have been many instances in which demons, after achieving material opulences, have become extremely proud, so much so that they have transgressed the laws and regulations given in the authoritative shastras. Hiranyakashipu acted in this way as stated in Bhagavad Gita 16.23. Ya shastra vidam utrisya vattate kama karata nasat siddhim avapanoti na sukham na pardam gatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. The word Shastra refers to that which controls our activities. We cannot violate or transgress the laws and regulative principles mentioned in the Shastras. Bhagavad Gita repeatedly confirms this. Tasmat Shastram Parmanam Te Karya Vayastitau Janatava Shastra Vidannoktam Karma I Harihasi. One should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Bhagavatam 16.24. One should act according to the direction of the Shastra, but the material energy is so powerful that as soon as one becomes materially opulent, he begins to transgress the Shastric laws. As soon as one transgresses the laws of Shastra, he immediately enters upon the path of destruction. Hare Krishna. So this particular translation and purport is again expanding on what we heard in the previous text. Hiranyakashipu gathered all the opulences, and he had everything he wanted, but then he wasn't following any of the laws and regulations. So this purport here describes how someone who can accumulate a lot of wealth, and you have all the opulences, but you don't follow the Shastras, which are the scriptural injunctions, and you lead your life according to your whims and fancies, and then you'll never be happy, and so that's a self-defeating way of living, actually. So it's very important, as it says here in this whole verse, that to follow the scriptural injunctions. And yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So, two very, very important verses from Bhagavad Gita, 16.23 and 16.24. Prabhupada is quoting both. Both speak the same thing. Like one says what should be done and one says what should not. What if one ignores, what will happen? No happiness, no supreme destination. What will be the destination? The destination will be hellish life, degraded life, path to destruction, Prabhupada is mentioning. On the contrary, if one takes to the injunctions of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, as Narottam Das Thakur says, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra Vakya Chittete Koriyakya. One should live one's life under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, the Vaishnavas, the bona fide spiritual master, and the bona fide authoritative Vedic scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc., then one's life will be full of happiness. And that's what we see in so many people. We will see later how Prahlad Maharaj was supremely happy because he was living under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. How Pandavas were happy. So, in this material world, people may ignore Shastras. So, I'm rich, I don't need scriptures, I can buy anything, I can eat anything, I can do anything I like, I am free. But all we are free is to be kicked. We can choose to ignore scriptures, but then we are not free to choose the reactions which will come. And this whole corona thing is an outcome of that. People think, oh, I'm free to eat anything. Okay, yeah, well, you're free. You ignore scriptures and eat anything, but the reactions will come. So, the path of destruction is awaiting if we ignore scriptures. At that time we cannot choose. It's too late. But the time to choose is now. Karya, akarya. Bhagavad Gita 16:24. What is to be done? Karya, akarya. What is not to be done? Gyatva shastram. We have to understand through shastra, not through my own. His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj recently shared, one devotee shared a quote, that if I think that I know what is good for me, that is Maya. So therefore, we must take shelter of senior Vaishnavas, of the spiritual master, and of the bona fide scriptures. Then only we will know what is good for us. Even in spiritual life. Even in, we may be chanting, reading, hearing for years, but shelter is required at every point. Even in ISKCON society, the sannyasis, the senior sannyasis, they also share with the other God brothers. So, any other comments or questions? Okay, let's read the next verse. Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, and Pranam all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks, Prabhuji. So, 21, right, Prabhuji?
Yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna devotees, and Pranam all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 21. Tasyagro danda samavigrahna sarvaloka sapalaka anyatra labdho sarana saranam yayur achyutam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Everyone, including the rulers of various planets, was extremely distressed because of the severe punishment inflicted upon them by Hiranyakashipu. Fearful and disturbed, unable to find any other shelter, they at last surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Purport. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surhadam sarva bhutanam natva mam santim richati. The sage who knows me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the beneficiary of and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is actually the best friend of everyone in a condition of distress or misery. One wants to seek the shelter of a well-wishing friend. The well-wishing friend of the perfect order is Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, all the inhabitants of the various planets, being unable to find any other shelter, were obliged to seek the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Friend. If from the very beginning we seek shelter of the Supreme Friend, there will be no cause of danger. It is said that if a dog is swimming in the water and one wants to cross the ocean by catching hold of dog's tail, certainly he is foolish. Similarly, in the distress, one seeks the shelter of demigod. He is foolish, for his efforts will be fruitless. In all circumstances, one should seek the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then there will be no danger under any circumstances. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, so wonderful explanation by Srila Prabhupada. So it clearly explains who is the ultimate cause of all causes. So, if we can concentrate on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna from the beginning, we don't need to be fearful at all. So here we can see that all the rulers of various planets, demigods, devatas, all the kings, everyone were very fearful, disturbed. Even King Indra became, Hiranyakashipu's servant. So, Srila Prabhupada gives a clear understanding here based on Bhagavad Gita, very important verse, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. So, if one can understand that Lord Krishna is the ultimate, Supreme Father, he is the cause of all causes. Not even a blade can, blade of grass can move without his will. Of course, we should have our endeavor also. So, if we think that, Lord Krishna as Chaitya Guru, well-wishing friend, of ours, who is always in our heart, we just need to introspect and listen to our heart. And then, so it is like people in this material world, thinking that they can, catch hold the dog's tail and cross the ocean. So that is similarly taking shelter of this materialistic people, or sometimes even demigods. But we can approach demigods, but we should be thinking that they are the servants of Krishna. So since we cannot directly go, we had a nice discussion how we can reach. Even the demigods were taking the shelter of the spiritual master Brahma. And also I kind of remember here that even Mother Draupadi was always trying different things for someone to help her in her distress. But at the end she gave up everything, and even she gave up her hands and raised in the hands towards the Lord, and so just called Krishna at the end. So at that time, Krishna came. And even in Mahabharata, we can see that when this, Judam, they call him, gambling was going on, and, Yudhishthira was thinking of everyone. And he was thinking, I should not call Krishna, because if Krishna knows that I am doing this sinful gambling game, what will he think? So that's what Krishna said. I was just waiting for your call. I was waiting just outside. So, we think that we know so much and we can do so much, Of course, that is the primary reason we fall down into this material world. So, ultimately, if we can, focus on the Krishna's name, fame, in that ABCD, I always remember association, books, chanting, and, deity worship and entering Vrindavan. So if we can always, concentrate on these activities and keep Krishna in center, of course, easier said than done, but at least we should try to do and reach to Supreme Lord. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Please, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice. I was hearing a class by His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj today. He mentioned the exactly same point which is discussed here, that if we don't cry for Krishna, then the Maya will make us cry. So better we cry for Krishna. If we don't want to cry by the sufferings of Maya. So in this situation, the demigods were suffering or distressed because of the troubles caused by Hiranyakashipu. And then they approached Lord Vishnu. This corona situation or material disturbances, when one loses a dear one, or when one is in difficulty like Draupadi or Gajendra or Kunti Maharani, The prayers which come at the time of difficulty is really from the heart. And I'm sure we all must have experienced that at some point or the other. When we are in danger, when we are in difficulty, at that time when we call for Krishna, and chanting is basically crying for Krishna, to really from the heart, not just from the words. Prayer is not just a lip service, it's heart service. It's called from the heart, expressed through the mouth. So better we cry for Krishna. And someone asked question, when we don't feel like crying for Krishna, why? And then Maharaj said, because you don't want to Krishna. You don't want to get Krishna. You are being duplicitous. He was very little tough. When we lose a big amount of money, we cry. That means you have a lot of more attachment in material life. In the dog's tail, we have a lot of hope in the dog's tail that will save me from the material world, from this bhavasagar, from this material ocean. Having faith in, oh, my job will save me, oh, my family will save me, oh, my husband or wife will save me. Gajendra also thought like that. Draupadi also thought like that. Who did come to rescue ultimately? The best of the husbands couldn't help. The best of the wives couldn't help. The best of the children couldn't help. The guru, pitama, anyone, everyone, her own strength. That thing was, they're all referred to as having, taking shelter of anyone but Krishna is having faith in that, oh, that I'll hold this dog's tail and then I'll be free. Or of other demigods, this Devi will save me, this Devta will save me, oh my Kul Guru, Kul this, all these things. Bhagavatam is very, very clear. Krishna is taking, you take shelter of me, I will be there for you. My devotee will never perish. So, Prabhupada is so clearly giving this message. One should seek shelter of Krishna in all circumstances. Then there will be no danger. Otherwise, life will be full of danger. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Let's read the next verse. Would someone like to read who is not read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I would like to read.
Yes, please.
Dandavat pranam to everyone. Text 22 and 23. Tasmai namestu kashtaye yatratma hari rishvarah yadgatva nanivartante shantaha sannyasino malaha iti te sanyatatmanah samahito dhiyo malaha upastarshru Hrisikesam vinidravāyu bhojanaha. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto that direction where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated, where those purified souls in the renounced order of life, the great saintly persons, go, and from which having gone, they never return. Without sleep, fully controlling their mind and living on only their breath, the predominating deities of various planets began worshipping Hrisikesa with this meditation. Purport. The two words tasaye kashtaye are very significant. Everywhere, in every direction, in every heart, and in every atom, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in his feature as the Brahman and Paramatma. Then what is the purpose of saying Tasaye Kashtaye? In that direction where Hari is situated, during Hiranyakashipu's time, his influence was everywhere, but he could not force his influence into the places where the Supreme Personality of Godhead had his pastime. For example, on this earth, there are such places as Vrindavana and Ayodhya, which are called Dhamas. In the Dhama, there is no influence from Kali Yuga or any demon. If one takes shelter of such Dham, worship of the Lord becomes very easy, and resultant spiritual advancement quickly takes place. In fact, in India, one may still go to Vrindavana and similar places to achieve the result of spiritual activity quickly. So, Dandavat to everyone. In this text, Prabhupada is mentioning that Yad Gatvana Nivartante, and similarly, Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says that Yad Gatvana Nivartante Tadhamam Paramam Mama. So, that is simply explained here that whoever goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they never come back, because the God resident Gokula is like eternal place, and there is just like a happiness. Everyone is happy there. There is no distress, no old age, no disease. And Prabhupada is saying that he is in every heart, in every atom. The Supreme Personality is situated in his Brahman and Paramatma feature. So Paramatma is in our heart, and as stated in, I think, chapter 2 of the Gita, Bhagavan says that soul resides in the heart and Supreme Lord is also along with them, just like a two birds sitting on the same branch. And in the furthermore, Prabhupada is saying that if we take the shelter of Dham like Vrindavan and Ayodhya, that places is very auspicious. That's very good places where Krishna and Lord Rama perform their pastime. So Kali Yuga and the demons cannot stay there. Like there is no effect of them in that holy Dham. And that is the spiritual activity progress goes very quickly in those dhams. So thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So the Supreme Lord is everywhere, and often people say, "Oh, Supreme Lord is everywhere. Why to go to Dham?" Right? Seems pretty logical. Lord is everywhere, but are we at that level to see Lord everywhere, in every atom, in everything? When we pick our car keys, do we see Lord? Probably not. When we sit in our car, or when we look at a phone or a pencil, do we see the Lord? I would say no for myself, because my eyes are covered with lust, anger, greed. They're not covered with premanja churita bhakti vilochanena. But when we go to holy Dham, like Vrindavan, like Mayapur, like Jagannath Puri, like Ayodhya, so many wonderful places where Lord did his pastimes personally, in the association of devotees, and absorb ourselves in hearing Krishna Katha and visiting those holy places and completely nourishing ourselves, then Prabhupada is saying that spiritual advancement, one should go to those places to achieve the results of spiritual activities quickly. So we have heard this multiple times, that whenever we go to holy places, one spiritual activity is multiplied by 1,000 times. So they have special power. Like we recharge our phone battery so that it can sustain through the rest of the day. Similarly, periodically we must plan. I know now staying in different country, Western country, it could be challenging, but we must plan. We must plan once a year or once in 2 years, or the more the merrier, but at least we should certainly plan. Otherwise, what Because if we keep procrastinating, then probably right time will never come. So we must plan so that we can go to these holy places, the holy temples, and there would be a stage when we may not be able to physically travel because old age will come to everyone and situations change fast. But at that point, if we have visited, at least we'll be able to mentally relish those pastimes, relish those wonderful Leela Sthalis, the places where the Lord did his pastime. But if we have not even visited, then we can just hear about those. But my personal experience is that yes, we can hear YouTube lectures and stuff, but when we go there and hear, that is totally a different experience that cannot be compared to hearing a lecture on YouTube. So we must plan. That is my humble request. We must plan to go to holy places. Prabhupada is saying this. Prabhupada is requesting everyone. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, let's read the next verse. Vijaya Mataji, you want to read, please? Okay. Umesh Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. 24th. Tesam Virabhudrani Arupa Medanihi Svana Sanadayanti Kakumpuha Sadhunam Bhaya Ankari. Translation. Then there appeared before them a transcendental sound vibration emanating from personality not visible to materialize. The voice was as grave as the sound of the cloud, and it was very encouraging, driving away all fear.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So, the transcendental sound vibration emanating from personality. Who's that personality? The Supreme Lord, because we will see in the later verses. And his sound vibration is also transcendental. Bhagavad Gita is transcendental, coming from the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagvatam is transcendental. Transcendental means it's not a material sound. The holy name is transcendental. So all these sound vibration, Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana, the sound vibration of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and anything in connection to the Supreme Lord is transcendental. And what it does, it is very encouraging. And very, very important, it drives away all fear. So whenever we are in distress, whenever we are feeling low, the best thing is to read and hear the transcendental sound vibration. We will certainly feel uplifted because the transcendental sound vibration is emanating from the Supreme Lord. It is not an ordinary sound. It is very encouraging, and it is the solution for fearlessness. So, and I'm sure we have all experienced that at some point or the other, when we are feeling low, when we are feeling discouraged, and when we just hear some kirtan or do some kirtan or read Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, it is so nourishing, it is so enriching, enlightening, hope-giving. It drives away all the fear. It gives so much strength. And that's what Arjuna was also morose. He had lost all his courage. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke the transcendental sound vibration. And then he was full of energy and enthusiasm. So the scriptures are meant to do that. The scripture, the transcendental holy vibration is meant to, give us spiritual enthusiasm, spiritual encouragement, so that we can continue in this journey. There will be a lot of ups and downs, so that we don't go into negativity or get discouraged in any kind of ups and downs which may come in our lives, which will come, not may come. Ups and downs will come. So this is the power of transcendental sound vibration. Any other comments or questions? Okay, one last verse for today. Would someone like to read? Was not read. Bhadra Prabhuji, you want to read, please? Okay. Bipul Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Haribol?
Yeah, Prabhuji, go ahead, Prabhuji.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavad Pranam, all gracious Srila Prabhupada. Text 25-26. Ma Vaishto vidudha sastha sarvesham bhadram astubha mad darshanam hi bhutanam sarva shreyo papattaye natam ettasya duratmayam daiteya pasadasya yat tasya shantim karishami kalam tapat pratikshata. Translation purport by His Divine Grace is Bhakti Bhanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The voice of the Lord vibrates as follows. O best of learned persons, do not fear. I wish all good fortune to you. Become my devotees by hearing and chanting about me and offering me prayers. For these are certainly meant to award benedictions to all living and put mighty on. Prabhuji, if you can, thank you, Prabhuji. For these are certainly meant to award benedictions to all living entities. I know all about the activities of Hiranyakashipu and shall surely stop them very soon. Please wait patiently until that time. Purport. Sometimes people are very much eager to see God. In considering the word Mat Darshanam, seeing me, which is mentioned in this verse, one should note that in Bhagavad Gita the Lord says, Bhaktamam Abhijanati. In other words, the ability to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to see Him or talk with Him depends on one's advancement in devotional service, which is called Bhakti. In Bhakti, there are 9 different activities: Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sharanam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Shakham, Atma Nivedanam. Because all these devotional activities are absolute, there is no fundamental difference between worshipping the deity in the temple, seeing Him, chanting His glories. Indeed, all these are ways of seeing Him. For everything done in devotional service is a means of direct contact with the Lord. The vibration of Lord's voice appeared in the presence of all devotees, and although the person vibrating the sound was unseen to them, they were meeting or seeing the Lord because they were offering prayers and because the vibration of the Lord was present. Contrary to the laws of the material world, there is no difference between seeing the Lord, offering prayers, and hearing the transcendental vibration. Pure devotees, therefore, are fully satisfied by glorifying the Lord. Such glorification is called Kirtan. Performing Kirtan and hearing the vibration of the sound Hare Krishna is actually seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. One must realize this position, and then one will be able to understand the absolute nature of Lord's activities. Haribol. There is a very beautiful purport by Prabhupada. So here we see, as soon as the other demigods and the living entities of the other planets took shelter of the Lord, Lord became pleased and ready to help out his devotees, because he said again and again, and even Gita also, that he kuntu name bhakta pranashyati, my devotees never perished. So as soon as we take the shelter of the Lord, we are free of anxiety and danger. And there is a very easy way to please the Lord and to become close to the Lord. And that way we can also know the Lord. There are the 9 different bhakti limbs. And that starts with Sravanam Kirtanam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his grace mercy, given us everybody, educated, non-educated, poor, rich, black, white, knowing English, not knowing English, Sanskrit, not knowing Sanskrit. Anybody can chant anywhere, any place, and come in contact with the Lord. Any of the different activities, of 9 different activities, anything we do, perform, it brings us close to the Lord and directly in close contact. And when we do kirtan, we feel that actually. And that's why we see the devotees are very much jubilant doing the kirtan. And these, any service and vibration, sound vibration, these are makes us in great contact with the Lord. So, and when we come in contact with the Lord and become his devotee and he is pleased, then Lord not only protects us in this material world, also gives us shelter under his lotus feet in the spiritual world. So this verse gives us the assurance that by doing or performing the bhakti, by the different 9 processes, anyone we can pick up or all of them together, we can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Back to Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Really very, very powerful words. Supreme Lord cannot be seen through material eyes. It came in the last translation. There's a nice verse which says, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grihat indriya. Through our blunt senses, how can we see Krishna? We cannot see Krishna. The eyes which are covered with material desires, how can they see completely spiritual object? They cannot see. Sevon mukhe hi jivadu swayam ev sfurati adaha. When we engage in the service which starts with the tongue, by vibrating our tongue, by chanting the holy names of Lord, by reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, by honoring Krishna Prasadam, then he chose to reveal himself. Because purification happens by all these spiritual activities, like chanting, reading, hearing, etc. So Krishna knows everything. He's saying, Demigods, please don't worry. I know all the activities about Hiranyakashipu. I'll surely stop them very soon. Be patient. That's another great lesson in this text. Because we could think, oh, why is Krishna not, helping me in my tough situation I'm going through? Why is Krishna not doing anything? Krishna is telling us through this verse what to do. Intensify your service, your reading, your hearing, your worship, your offering of prayers. Intensify your relationship with me through the form of holy name, through the form of Krishna Katha, and be patient. Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya. Dhairya is another one important quality. We discussed about encouragement in the previous verse, enthusiasm, encouragement, etc. This verse also is teaching that be patient. We should not think, oh, I'm chanting for the last 2 years, nothing is happening. Or I'm chanting or reading Bhagavatam for the last 2 years, nothing is happening. one has to have good patience also. That Krishna, I will do this life after life, because I know you know everything. That's what Krishna is telling. The Supreme Lord is telling Hrisikesa. He knows he's our Supreme Father, our Suhrid, best friend. He will not do wrong to us. All we need to have is faith and continue rendering the process of bhakti. And he'll arrange all good fortune for us. Back home, back to Godhead. Any other comments, questions? Okay, so we will stop here and continue what happened, continue tomorrow and see what happens next. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Nandakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.